You're probably not going to like what I'm about to tell you, but somebody needs to say it. The reason you're not living the life you want is not because of the economy, your boss, your education, or your circumstances. The reason you're not living the life you want is because you've been making excuses instead of making changes. You've been hoping instead of working. You've been wishing instead of planning. You've been dreaming instead of doing. And the most painful part is that deep down you know this is true, but you keep lying to yourself because the truth is uncomfortable. What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you have within you the capacity to become someone extraordinary? What if I told you that the person you're meant to be is not some distant dream, but a reality waiting for you to claim it? You see, most people go through life never realizing their true potential. They settle for average. They accept mediocrity as their lot in life. But not you, not today. The truth is, there's a massive gap between where you are right now and where you could be, between who you are today and who you're capable of becoming. That gap isn't filled by luck. It isn't filled by circumstances. It isn't filled by hoping and wishing. That gap is filled by following certain fundamental principles that successful people have followed for centuries. Most people spend more time planning their vacation than planning their life. They'll research every detail of a 7-day trip, but won't spend 7 minutes thinking about where they want their life to go. That's backwards thinking. Success leaves clues. The people who become everything they're meant to be follow a pattern. They live by certain rules. Today, I'm sharing the 7 most important rules for becoming the person you're meant to be. These aren't theories. These are principles I've lived by, principles that transform ordinary people into extraordinary human beings. If you apply these rules, 5 years from now, you won't recognize the person looking back at you in the mirror. But you can't just listen and nod your head. You've got to apply them. You've got to live them. Because knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing at all. The first rule is the foundation of everything else we're going to talk about. Without this rule, nothing else matters. Without this rule, you'll spend your life making excuses instead of making progress. Are you ready? Rule number 1, take full responsibility for your life and results. This is where it all begins. You must accept total responsibility for where you are right now. Not partial responsibility. Not responsibility when it's convenient. Total responsibility for your health, your relationships, your bank account, your happiness, your success, your failures, all of it. Now, I know that's hard to hear. It's easier to blame the economy. It's easier to blame your boss. It's easier to blame your upbringing, your education, your circumstances. But here's what I learned a long time ago. You can blame or you can succeed, but you can't do both. When I was struggling in my 20s, barely making ends meet, I had a mentor who changed my life with one simple question. He said, "Jim, if you don't like how things are, who's going to change them?" I started to give him my list of excuses, and he stopped me. He said, "No, Jim, who's going to change them?" And finally it hit me. I was. I had to change them. Nobody else was coming to rescue me. Nobody else was going to fix my problems. It was up to me. That day, I stopped being a victim and started being the architect of my life. Everything changed when I made that shift. When you take responsibility, you take control. When you take control, you can change your results. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's freedom. When you accept that you're responsible for your results, you also accept that you have the power to change them. No matter where you are right now, no matter what mistakes you've made, you can start fresh and create something better. But responsibility without action is just a nice philosophy. You've got to act on it. And that brings us to the second rule that will transform your life. Rule number 2, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. This is the rule that changed everything for me. See, most people have it backwards. They think if they just work harder at their job, they'll make more money and be more successful. But that's not how it works. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want to make more, you have to become more. If you want to have more, you have to become more. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I worked harder and harder at my job, putting in longer hours, trying to impress my boss, hoping for that next promotion or raise. But my results stayed pretty much the same. Why? Because I was the same. I hadn't grown. I hadn't developed new skills. I hadn't become more valuable. Then I met my mentor, and he taught me something that revolutionized my thinking. He said, "Jim, if you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune." That hit me like a ton of bricks. Think about it this way. You are your most valuable asset. You are your greatest investment opportunity. Everything else is secondary to developing yourself, your knowledge, your skills, your character, your attitude, your ability to communicate, your ability to lead, your ability to solve problems. These are the things that determine your value in the marketplace of life. So here's what I started doing, and here's what I want you to start doing. For every hour you spend working on your job, spend at least that much time working on yourself. Read books, listen to educational programs, attend seminars, take courses, learn new skills, study successful people, study failures so you can avoid it. The key is consistency. Don't try to become a different person overnight. That doesn't work. Personal development is like physical fitness. You don't go to the gym once and get in shape. You go consistently, day after day, and gradually you become stronger and healthier. Same thing with personal development. A little bit every day compounds into massive change over time. And here's something most people don't understand. The work you do on yourself pays dividends for the rest of your life. When you improve your communication skills, that benefits you in every relationship you'll ever have. When you improve your discipline, that benefits you in every goal you'll ever pursue. When you improve your character, that benefits you in every situation you'll ever face. Your job will pay you while you're doing it. But working on yourself will pay you for the rest of your life. That's the difference between earning a living and building a life. Rule number 3, become a lifelong student. Here's what separates successful people from everyone else. They never stop learning. They understand that the day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Most people think their education ends when they graduate from school. What a mistake. That's when your real education should begin. School teaches you how to learn. Life is where you apply that learning to create the results you want. I've got news for you. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no such thing as standing still in life. Everything is either growing or dying, getting better or getting worse, moving forward or moving backward. The good news is that we live in the greatest time in human history to be a student. You have access to more information, more knowledge, more wisdom than any generation that has ever lived. You can learn anything you want to learn. You can study under the greatest minds who have ever lived through their books and recordings. You can learn from people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. But here's the key. You've got to be intentional about it. Learning doesn't happen by accident. You've got to make it a priority. You've got to schedule time for it. You've got to invest in it. I recommend you read at least one book a month. That's just 12 books a year. But if you read 12 good books a year for 10 years, that's 120 books. Do you think reading 120 books might change your life? Of course it would. You'd become a completely different person. And don't just read books in your field. Read books on psychology, philosophy, history, biography. Read about successful people and how they think. Read about unsuccessful people and what they did wrong. Learn from everyone. Learn from everything. Listen to educational programs in your car instead of the radio. Turn your car into a university on wheels. If you drive an hour a day, that's 250 hours a year. That's equivalent to 6 weeks of full-time study. Imagine what you could learn in 6 weeks of focused study every year. But being a lifelong student isn't just about consuming information. It's about applying what you learn. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. You've got to take what you learn and put it to work in your life. And here's something else. Share what you learn with others. When you teach, you learn twice. When you share knowledge, you multiply its value. Rule number 4, choose your associations carefully. You become like the people you spend the most time with. This isn't opinion, this is fact. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. The people you associate with determine the conversations you have. The conversations you have determine the thoughts you think. The thoughts you think determine the actions you take. The actions you take determine your results. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at their health, their income, their relationships, their attitude, their level of success. Average it out. That's where you're headed, unless you make some changes. Now, I'm not saying you should dump all your old friends, but I am saying you need to be very careful about who influences your thinking. There are 2 kinds of people in this world, those who add to your life and those who subtract from it. Those who inspire you to be better and those who drag you down. You've got to maximize your time with the first group and minimize your time with the second. Here's what I learned. If you want to be successful, hang around successful people. If you want to be healthy, hang around healthy people. If you want to be happy, hang around happy people. It rubs off. Success is contagious. So is failure. I remember when I first started working on myself, some of my old friends thought I was getting weird. They said, "Jim, you're always reading those books. You're always listening to those tapes. You're changing." And you know what? They were right. I was changing. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Some of those friendships didn't survive my transformation. And that was painful. But I realized something. If somebody doesn't want you to grow, they don't have your best interests at heart. People who love you want to see you become everything you're capable of becoming. So I started seeking out people who were where I wanted to be. I found mentors. I joined organizations where successful people gathered. I attended seminars and conferences. I put myself in environments where I could learn from people who had already achieved what I wanted to achieve. And here's what happened. My thinking changed, my expectations changed, my standards changed, my results changed. When you change your associations, you change your life. Find people who challenge you to be better. Find people who believe in your potential even when you don't believe in it yourself. Find people who will tell you the truth even when it's hard to hear. Find people who are playing the game of life at a higher level than you are. But don't just take from these relationships, give back. Become valuable to the people you want to attract. Become the kind of person others want to associate with. Work on your character, your skills, your knowledge, your attitude. Make yourself worth knowing. And here's something important. You don't have to know these people personally to be influenced by them. You can associate with anyone who has ever lived through their books, their recordings, their teachings. I've been mentored by people who died before I was born through their writings. Benjamin Franklin has been one of my greatest teachers, and he died in 1790. The point is this: you have the power to choose who influences your thinking. Use that power wisely. Your associations will either take you up or take you down. There's no neutral ground. Rule number 5, set clear, written goals with deadlines. Here's one of the most tragic things I see. People drifting through life without any clear direction. They're like ships without rudders, blown around by every wind. They work hard, but they're not working toward anything specific. Goals are the bridge between dreams and reality. Dreams are great, but dreams without goals are just wishes, and wishes don't come true. Goals come true when you work toward them systematically. The major reason for setting a goal is not what you get from achieving it. The major reason is what you become in the process. Goals pull the best out of you. Goals force you to grow. When you set a goal, you become like a magnet. You start attracting the people, resources, opportunities, and ideas you need to achieve that goal. It's almost like magic, but it's not magic. It's focus. When you know exactly what you want, you start noticing things that can help you get it that you never noticed before. But here's the key. Your goals must be written down. A goal not written down is just a wish. When you write down your goals, it becomes real. It becomes concrete, and your goals must have deadlines. A goal without a deadline has no urgency. Without urgency, there's no motivation. Without motivation, there's no action. So here's what I want you to do. Write down your goals. Be specific. Instead of I want to make more money, write I will earn $100,000 0 cents by December 31st of next year. Instead of I want to get in shape, write I will lose 30 pounds and run a 5K race by June 1st. Make your goals challenging but achievable. If they're too easy, they won't inspire you. If they're impossible, they'll discourage you. Find that sweet spot where you have to stretch to reach them, but you believe you can do it. Write down why you want to achieve each goal. The stronger your reasons, the more likely you are to achieve your goals. When the going gets tough, and it will get tough, your reasons will keep you going. Review your goals regularly. I recommend daily. Keep them in front of you. Let them guide your decisions. When you have to choose how to spend your time, ask yourself, will this help me achieve my goals or not? If it will, do it. If it won't, don't do it. And here's something important. Share your goals with people who will support you and hold you accountable. When you tell others about your goals, you create external pressure to achieve them. You don't want to look like someone who doesn't follow through on their commitments. But setting goals is just the beginning. Goals without the discipline to work toward them every day are just nice thoughts on paper. And that brings us to our 6th rule. Rule number 6, develop personal discipline. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment. Discipline is the bridge between inspiration and achievement. Discipline is the bridge between necessity and productivity. Without discipline, all the goal setting in the world won't help you. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not that successful people always feel like doing what they should do. The difference is that successful people do what they should do whether they feel like it or not. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. You can choose the pain of discipline now, or you can choose the pain of regret later. But you will experience one of them. The good news about discipline is that it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. Pick one area of your life where you want to be more disciplined. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's reading. Maybe it's saving money. Maybe it's getting up earlier. Focus on that one area for 30 days. Do the disciplined thing every single day for 30 days. After 30 days, it will start to become a habit. Then you can add another area. Here's what I learned about discipline. It's easier to do it every day than to do it sometimes. When you do something every day, it becomes automatic. When you do it sometimes, you have to make a decision every time. And every decision takes mental energy. For example, if you decide to exercise every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you have to make a decision 3 times a week. Should I exercise today or not? But if you decide to exercise every day, you don't have to make that decision. It's automatic. The same principle applies to everything. It's easier to save money every day than to save money sometimes. It's easier to read every day than to read sometimes. It's easier to eat healthy every day than to eat healthy sometimes. Discipline in one area of your life tends to spill over into other areas. When you develop the discipline to exercise regularly, you'll find it easier to develop the discipline to eat right. When you develop the discipline to read regularly, you'll find it easier to develop the discipline to manage your time better. But discipline without action is just self-control. And self-control without results is just suffering. You need to channel your discipline into productive activity. And that brings us to our 7th and final rule. Rule number 7, take consistent daily action toward your dreams. This is where it all comes together. You can take responsibility, work on yourself, become a lifelong student, choose good associations, set clear goals, and develop discipline. But if you don't take action, nothing happens. Action is where the magic happens. Action is where dreams become reality. But here's the key. It's not about taking massive action once in a while. It's about taking consistent action every day. Small actions, repeated consistently over time, create extraordinary results. This is the compound effect in action. Think about it this way. If you want to cut down a huge tree, you don't swing the axe as hard as you can once and expect the tree to fall. You take consistent swings day after day, and eventually the tree falls. Same thing with your goals. Consistent daily action will accomplish more than occasional bursts of massive action. The problem most people have is they want to see immediate results. They take action for a few days or a few weeks, don't see dramatic changes, and quit. But that's not how it works. Success is like a bamboo tree. You can water and fertilize a bamboo tree for years and see no visible growth above ground. But all that time it's developing a massive root system underground. Then in its 5th year, it can grow 90 feet in 90 days. Your success is the same way. You might not see dramatic results at first, but if you keep taking consistent action, if you keep watering and fertilizing your dreams with daily effort, eventually you'll see explosive growth. Here's what I want you to understand. Every day matters. What you do today matters. The book you read today matters. The exercise you do today matters. The person you talk to today matters. The decision you make today matters. It all adds up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. If you mess up one day, don't use that as an excuse to quit. Just get back on track the next day. Progress is not about perfection. Progress is about persistence. And here's something powerful. When you take action toward your goals every day, even if it's just a small action, you maintain momentum. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Once you get momentum going in your favor, it becomes easier to keep moving forward. But action without the right mindset won't get you very far. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your ability to become the person you're meant to be. You've got to believe that you deserve success, happiness, and fulfillment. Let me tell you something. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are here for a reason. You have something unique to contribute to this world. You have talents and abilities that no one else has in quite the same combination. You have the potential to make a difference, to leave a mark, to become someone extraordinary. But potential means nothing without action. You are the gardener of your own potential. You are responsible for planting it, watering it, and nurturing it into full bloom. The 7 rules I've shared with you today are not just theories. They're not just nice ideas. They're proven principles that have worked for thousands of successful people throughout history. They'll work for you too, but only if you work them. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just listen to these rules and nod your head and say that makes sense. Start applying them today. Start right now. Take responsibility for your life. Commit to working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Become a lifelong student. Choose your associations carefully. Set clear written goals with deadlines. Develop personal discipline. Take consistent daily action toward your dreams. 5 years from now, you're going to be somewhere. The question is, where? You can be exactly where you are today, having the same conversations, facing the same problems, living the same life, or you can be living your dreams, having become the person you're meant to be. The choice is yours. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Start where you are with what you have and do what you can. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Your family is counting on the person you become. The world is counting on the contribution only you can make. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. You have everything within you right now to begin becoming the person you're meant to be. The only question is, will you? Will you follow these 7 rules? Will you do what it takes? Will you become who you're meant to be? I believe you will. I believe in your potential. I believe in your ability to create an extraordinary life. Now, you need to believe it too, and more importantly, you need to act on that belief. The person you're meant to be is waiting. It's time to claim that person. It's time to become who you're meant to be. Your time is now.